Good morning, intuitives. So, figured I'd get a video in as I'm waiting for my email from my attorney, my estate attorney. I'm not in any trouble at the moment or suing anybody, but when you're an INFJ who values integrity, who calls out good old boys clubs and sexual exploitation and the exploits of narcissists and borderlines, they're bound to come for you. So, you never know. That could change at any given moment. But the topic I want to talk to about today is one that I have actually been thinking about for years that I didn't give too much thought until recently, and I recently, within the past few weeks, got my validation on it. So I want to share it in case anybody else is in this situation. And, since I'm a credit where credit's due guy, the original idea from this I learned years ago from Ollie Matthews. And what it is how in some families with a borderline mother where there's sons and no daughters, that the borderline mother will raise one of her sons, the black sheep son, as a daughter, whereas the other son, the golden child, will be the son husband. And this is the golden child son husband thing's been spoken about by a lot of anti narcissism channels, but the borderline mother raising son like daughter is that was my experience and it's been validated. So we're going to talk about it. So welcome new subscribers to the channel. And if you watch and you're not subscribed, you should and watch my older videos. As I said, ignore the microphone on my face. And to those of you who wonder why I repeat concepts sometimes, because in all narcissism channels, certain points we have to keep driving home, and I have no way of knowing who's watched which videos. Some of my most poignant points are in my most obscure videos that nobody watches, like being the edge of the coin, and you're still not watching it. I want people to watch that video. If you're in the Nietzschean philosophy or Legacy of Cain, you'll find it pretty cool. It's my own personal twist on both of those, my own personal philosophy, and it's awesome, and people don't watch it. People don't watch it. So, but back on back on subject. So it's a weird dynamic. You grow up, in a house. For me, it was me and a younger brother, 2 years younger. He was the golden child. I was the black sheep. We spoke about that. But what was interesting, and our mother was obviously a borderline. We were raised very differently, and this is, odd. Think about it. I mean, we're full siblings, and we're only 2 years apart. It's not like this is a blended family, a lot of age gap. No, 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 no. So from the time I was little, like maybe 7, my mother would be teaching me like how to clean, how to cook and all that. And I'm glad I know how to cook, but drilled into me at a young age that, it's not a woman's job to take care of me, which is fine. I believe that. But the interesting part about this is my mother was many things, but a feminist. She was not. She was like a suburban, George Bush senior, Northeast moderate Republican type, and she was all about like trying to be like a kept woman, like a desperate housewife. That was her dream. So she wasn't really about empowerment. She was about materialism and stuff, and above all else, keeping up with the Joneses. So I just want to put that in there. You know. So anyway, yeah, I was raised to do all that stuff. I had to help around the house. Both parents worked as we got older, and it was my job to get dinner ready and all that, and clean my own bathroom, do my own laundry, all stuff everybody should learn how to do. Maybe 7, 8's a little young. I would say probably by like middle school age. I don't know. I don't have kids yet that I know of. I'm kidding. I would know if I did. It's not a very long list, but anyway. That's the difference there. Now, my brother, the golden child, was babied his whole life till the day my mother died. She babied him like a 12-year-old. She did his laundry, she made his bed, everything. He did nothing for himself. Never cleaned a dish. She'd leave it in the sink and she'd take care of it. Never ever cleaned a dish. Like he was the quintessential pampered, baby Huey type. Y'all know the type I'm talking about. You know, never had a full-time job, rarely would have part-time jobs, just continued to live as if he was in middle school. And, she would allow it and defend it. And, oh, it's not, he doesn't know how to do anything. Well, why the fuck doesn't he know how to do anything? I had to learn it at 7. How hard can it be? Kind of stuff. So, I was very independent growing up and kind of for the most part, left to my own devices, except for when she would be yelling at me for trying to follow whatever fad was going on and to fit in at school and have school spirit and be part of a group. You know, stuff that an INFJ is just not going to do. The more you try to make us, the more we don't want to. It's like, I sense ulterior motives here. Anyway, so that was the dynamic there. And it didn't end there. Like how she interacted with the two of us was completely different. As I said, I was raised like a daughter. Looks, weight, all that was big for her. You know, who the hell do you think pushed me in the modeling? She didn't have a daughter to dress up. I guess it didn't help that I had shoulder length hair too, but that was my decision. She actually did defend me on that choice because growing up where I grew up, that no thing. But anyway, so that was total. And for him, it was he could do whatever he wanted. Like he could do no wrong. He was Mr. Perfect golden child. And as we got older, this dynamic continued. My brother to this day does not know who our mother really was. I do. Like stuff no son should know about their mother. Now, stuff that wouldn't be that weird to know of a relationship between a mother and her adult daughter. You know what I'm saying? Know where I'm going with this? A lot about her past and exploits. My brother didn't know she had a first marriage. I knew that at like 13. There's other things I know too that he doesn't know. But it was so different as to how she interacted with the two of us, given, like I said, two sons only 2 years apart were treated and raised completely different. And I brought this up in the past few weeks because, with her death and all, neighbors have been coming over more, and also like friends of hers from when I was growing up, like parents of my childhood friends. And I brought up this dynamic, that I'm like, I feel like I was raised by a daughter. I feel like I was raised like a daughter. And they're like, oh, yeah. Like they didn't think of it, but when I went through it, it clicked. They're like, yeah, you definitely weren't, especially like my childhood friends who have older sisters, yeah, they noticed it back in the day and didn't know how to put it in the words, but they're like, yes, I'm a girl and you were raised like a girl. And even to the point where, my mother obsessed with marrying me off, to some, local Italian girl that comes from a prominent family because it's all about appearances. Don't worry about who she's like or her skeletons, stuff like that. And like I said, my brother could do no wrong. She would, she was always all up in my love life. Not that there were large times where nothing was going on, and I get scolded for that too. And she was always trying to set me up with these train wrecks. They were very pretty, but they were train wrecks with drug problems like her. And it's like, yeah, no. No. So that is one nice thing. Given my upbringing, they say a lot of sons look for their mother and their partners. The only thing that the majority of women, the only thing that the women I tend to go after have in common with my mother is their height. My mother was 5'2". I do tend to go after, tiny girls. But other than that, personality, looks, what they value in life, disposition, nothing. Nothing. I'm kind of afraid of Italian girls, honestly, because, that's what my mom was. And I went to Catholic school, so just kidding. I know it's not all of you. It's most of you in this area, though, Italian girls. I'm half Italian, I can say it. That's why there's Casanova on my page. I joke about Italian American culture. Mostly, I can't deny it. Look at me. But it is an interesting dynamic that not many people talk about. And it kind of messes with your head growing up as a male. And it's like, this isn't how the moms treat my friends. Why am I so different? And I assume, though she didn't know it, but it probably played a part in it. The fact that I am an INFJ, and male INFJs tend to be the guys that are most in tune with their feminine side. But what I don't know to this day is like what caused her to make this decision. Like, how could she basically be like, well, I don't have a daughter, so you're going to be it. And you see this more in the opposite. Like, for those of you, if you were familiar with the show Last Man Standing with Tim Allen, he had three daughters, and it was obviously that the youngest of the three, like the military sport one, was clearly, he was raising like a son and would even call her son on occasion. So think of that, but in reverse for me. Yeah. Though my mom would always bitch about not having a daughter because girls wear pretty dresses and do their hair and all that. Boys need bailed out of jail and taken to the emergency room. I never needed bailed out of jail. That was my brother. I did require multiple trips to the emergency room as a kid. Little daredevil. But it is it's kind of even hard to put in the words now, like how that was. And it's nice though to get that validation from peers of hers that were around for all that did observe what I observed and agree, because at least that lets me know, well, my intuition isn't wrong. I sensed this is what was going on and all these people saw it too. So there was clearly something to it. And part of it, as you get older in this dynamic, is competition. Even though I'm a boy, I would my mother saw me as competition. And to be fair, Ali said this, as Ali said, and this is especially true if you look like the borderline, if you look like your abuser. And my brother looks just like my dad. We don't look like full siblings. I looked just like my mother. Well, technically, she looked like her father. I'm the spitting image of my maternal grandfather. But anyway, my whole life, people are like, oh, yeah, it's obvious that you're some blah, blah, blah. So there was that sense of competition between her and I, like as I got older, as I started getting attention from girls, as people started trying saying to her like, oh, he should go into modeling and all that. She saw me as competition. In true borderline fashion, my mother could never accept her age. The day she died, she could not accept that she was 67. She was, obsessed with trying to be 45, which fits into the delusion and the codependency between her and my brother, who's 33 and wanted to be 18. But again, that's for another day. Otherwise, this will be too long. So, there's that competition. And when you're in that dynamic as I am, when you are the son being raised as a daughter, you're a trophy, you're a show pony until you get too much attention. And then you're competition, and they got to keep you down because the narcissist, the borderline, wants you to be a reflection of them, but they want you to be a dulled reflection. You can't outshine them. You have to be like a watered down version of what they once were, but nothing can trump, the original's always king. And, oh, they're here, but I was here at that age. And, I was doing this and that and getting all this attention. They don't want anybody outshining them. But you are used as a way sort of for them to use nostalgia to recapture those glory days that they so long for that they can never accept are gone forever. So it's a double-edged sword in that respect. I hope this made sense. It was hard putting in the words because it's a weird thing to talk about, and it's not, I don't really know of anybody else who really talked about it at length. Ollie Matthews a little bit, but I hope if you were in this dynamic yourself that this helped and gave you the validation that, as weird as this may sound, no, it's not in your head, and other people probably noticed. Talk to people who were around at the time, because and that'll be another video, but a lot of things about the narcissist or the borderline comes out once they're gone, and I'll explain why in another video. So I hope this helped and enlightened you and at least made this dynamic somewhat understandable, because it is a thing. I don't know how rare it is, but it is a thing, and it should be better understood, and especially if you had to go through it like I did. So remember, trust your intuition. If you think what you think's going on is probably what's going on. And as far as integrity goes, the borderline will try to steal that from you, male or female. I hope these videos help. Like and subscribe, help the channel grow. Share the videos where you want. Just don't post it as me, because you're not me, I'm me, and you don't want to be me. And continue to help this grow and help reach more people. Thanks for taking time to watch the older videos, especially being the edge of the coin. Watch it.